Let's go ahead and look at the preferences that are available to customize in Premiere Pro. On a Windows machine, we're going to point to Edit, and we're going to choose Preferences. You can find this under Premiere Pro on a Mac and choose Preferences. I'm going to point to General, and you can see there are quite a few different categories here inside our Preferences panel. Under General, a couple things I want to point out. Here for video transitions, they have set up the default for 30 frames. Audio transitions have been set up to 1 second. And any still images that are brought in, the default duration for the length of time that the still image will be on our sequence or our timeline will be 150 frames. So these are our defaults. We can always customize each individual thing as we bring them in. As we create a video transition, we can customize the number of frames that it affects on each individual transition. Or we can come in here and change our preferences before we import any still images or before we apply any transitions, and then we'll have new defaults that are actually applied for us. Here we can see that you do have some settings here for timeline playback. Here we can do scrolling, page scrolling, or smooth scrolling to actually view our timeline. Previewing the information in your timeline can be done by a method called scrubbing, and we'll take a look at that later, which is simply just dragging your current time indicator or your CTI to quickly preview what's on your timeline. So as we continue down, you can see here automatically after we render any of our information that's on our timeline, it will automatically play it when it's done rendering. We can deselect that if we don't want that option available. We can also default the scale to frame size so that everything is modified automatically for us. And here on our bins, which we'll be working with inside our projects panel, we'll take a look at the projects panel in much more detail later when we have some assets. But here you can set up what a double click is going to do, what a control click, and what a alt click is going to do in regards to opening up those bins. We'll go ahead and leave all that stuff at default. Under the appearance panel, we can change the lightness or darkness of our user interface. We have an option for autosave. Here we can see it's automatically saving our projects every 20 minutes, and it's going to keep a maximum of 5 different versions. So what's going to happen, every 20 minutes a new version of our project will be automatically saved, and it will cycle through 5 versions. So once it goes to saving on a 6th time, it will replace the first version and then cycle through 1 through 5 again. So you can modify how many versions are saved. Again, remember, Premiere Pro projects become very memory intensive. So the more versions you have, the more memory it's going to be taking up. And obviously how often you save and create these versions will also affect your file sizes. And if we take a look at label colors and label defaults, you can see here these two categories go together. Under my label colors, you can see here it's automatically set up for these different colors, and they've got the names next to them and then the color to the right. I can click on there and I can choose another color if I would like and give it a name. And then these are associated with the label defaults. So here in my bin, the mango color is associated with any bins. The sequence is forest, a green color. Video's violet, audio's Caribbean. So you'll see as we're working through our project, when we start importing information into our project panel, we'll start to have different types of assets. Assets can include video, still images, titles, folders, and audio files. So here you can see each one of those is color coded to help that stand out to you in your projects panel so you know which one is which. So if you're working on limited space, as I am, you can tell by the color code rather than looking for a file extension. Under Media, here we have our Media Cache database. And again, notice this one's automatically saving to my roaming area inside my app data under the Adobe Common folder. I can browse and I can change the location of this if I wish, and I can click clean at any time to clean that out for my project if I'm starting to have issues with running out of memory. A lot of my stuff can wind up in this folder where it's saving extra copies of things in my media cache. And you can continue to explore the preferences panel to see if there's any other information that you want to take a look at. For instance, under memory, we can see how much RAM is installed on our system and then how much memory is reserved for different applications. And here we can see we're looking at the programs that would most likely be used along with Adobe Premiere. I'm going to go ahead and click OK to get out of the preferences window and return to my project.